On this channel, Million Dollars Made Easy, we love to run numbers for people. What we do is look at what the S&P 500 has done over the last 100 years, and we look at those returns and we use them looking forward. Of course, there's a wide variance between what happens in each year, but we're going to run it for each one and see whether somebody might be. So here we have an individual that's 40 years old, has 86,000 in his nest egg, wants several different scenarios. First, he wants to do $600 a month and increase that by 2% a year. Again, these are the criteria. If you want me to run numbers for you, put it in the comments section. Number one, the beginning balance. Number two, whether you want me to inflate that each year, how much you're putting in. And definitely number three, how much you want to put in each month. So these are the three criteria. What we're going to do is run the numbers for every single year for the last 100 years. And since he's 40 years old, we're going to be looking at the 25-year column. That'll be when he's 65. So with this scenario, starting out with 86,000, put in $600 a month, increasing that by 2% a year. Uh, we use the returns from the last 100 years. The worst 25-year period in the last 100 years would actually be 1924. You can see the numbers right here for 1924. The worst case scenario for a 25-year period, 1924, 1.131. If you go down through the rest of this column here, the median you're going to find is 1.959 million. In other words, half the time you had more than that, half the time you had less. One year there was actually a 25-year period where you had 7.183 given these inputs. I also want to take into account inflation using a 3% inflation rate. This 1.131 would have the buying power of 626,000 25 years later, and this 1.959 would have the buying power of $1 million. But he also needed me to run the numbers for $500 a month, increasing that by 4% a year. In other words, he's putting less in initially, but he's increasing that not just by 2%, but by 4%. Let's see where those numbers might lead to. In this case, he'd be putting in 264,668 over that 25-year period. And the worst case scenario, again, 1924, because 1924, you were going along really good, but then you got hit with all these down years. And in 30 years, it was down 11 times. I'm not sure what 25 was, but anyway, look at the numbers here, 1.146, the median being 1.950, pretty much the same scenario we saw with the $600. The median buying power would be over $1 million. So let's do one other thing. $400, increasing that by 6% a year. In other words, he's starting out a little bit slower, but he wants to get up there. So he's putting in more and more as time goes on. Let's see what those numbers might update to. In this case, he'd be putting in 262,000. And look at that, 1.145 million. Well, we just had 1.146. So they're basically about the same, whether you're putting in $600 or $400 a month at 4% or anyway. 1.145, the median 1.905. You get how this works. That's what I do for people. I run numbers for them. Try to put in as much as you can as early as you can. In this case scenario, we did the 600, the 500, and the 400. You do the 400, try to put in more each year as quickly as possible to build it up to these kind of amounts. So that after 10 years, you're putting in 676, and after 20 years, you're up over 1,000. That's what we like to do, run numbers for people. Put it in the comment section again, 1, 2, and 3 for the criteria. And I will run numbers for you. Sometimes I overlook them. Be patient with me. If I happen to miss them, just redo it again in another video. Just put in the comment section. Hopefully I'll catch up with the people that have asked me to run these numbers. I love running numbers for people. I want to help people to see what the S&P 500 might do for them in the future if it continues to do what it's been doing for the last 100 years. Please consider subscribing to the channel, but please definitely share this with your friends, and I'll run numbers for them. And also, please like the video, and thanks for watching.